Good evening. My name is Keith Romano. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Inland Wetlands meeting, commission meeting for the town of Monroe. It is January 13th, 2021. The time is 7:03 p.m. I believe the recorder is on.
Check.
Okay. I'll take a roll call. The members of the commission, staff present during tonight's remote meeting, please answer here present, starting with myself, Keith Romano. Here, Commissioner Lois Spence, who's our vice chair and secretary.
Here.
Jim Stewart is not going to be with us at the moment, but join us later. Who's our treasurer? Clark Gingras.
Here.
Ross Masaraco.
Here.
BJ Hall.
Here.
Denise Halstead, who's Inland Wetlands agent.
Here.
Donna Shazinski, our office manager.
Present.
Okay, and Sarah Stroud, recording secretary.
Here.
Okay. Excellent. Before we start, I'll read our mission statement and how the meeting will proceed. Inland Wetlands mission statement. The objective and purpose of the Inland Wetlands Commission is to provide for the overall protection and preservation of the inland wetlands and watercourses within the town of Monroe. Meeting procedure. In the normal course of our meetings, we will hear public hearings and other applications. The protocol for public hearings is to have an applicant make a presentation to the commission, during which and after which the commission will be asking the applicant questions. Due to remote meeting status, I'd like to ask the applicants to keep the presentation as concise as possible. The commission will then review town staff and other independent comments. The meeting will then be open for public comment. I'll ask that all comments be made to the chair or commission. After any and all comments pro and opposition or of a general nature are made, the applicant will be given an opportunity to respond. Again, due to remote meeting status, please keep comments or questions direct, and a time limit of 3 minutes may be imposed. It is not necessary that the applicant respond, but generally in their best interest to do so. There will be no further opportunity for new questions unless new material is entered in as evidence or testimony during the response. Please keep all comments pro and con specific to inland wetlands related matters. Other applications do not involve a public hearing will follow a similar format, with the exception that there will be no public comments allowed. The meeting follows our published agenda unless otherwise amended. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Just one, we did get notification that the owner for 224 Guinea Road, which is item C enforcement, C8 remediation submissions, it was IWR 2020-02. They asked if they could postpone until the next meeting on the 27th because they had a conflict.
Okay.
So that's okay with the commission. It's for a remediation submission, so there's not a statutory timeline with it.
Okay. All right. Let's get going. This part, it's like I got it so bogged down from last night. Okay, so we did roll call. So this is general public participation. It's a period of time reserved for public participation. Anybody in the public would like to address the commission on any topic whatsoever, hopefully related to inland wetlands matters. All right, that's good. Moving along, regulated activities, subdivision reports, recommendation to P&Z Commission, none. Regular meeting, IWC 2020-09, 200 Monroe Turnpike, expansion of parking lot, lighting, and landscaping.
Now, Andrew, do you want me to make you presenter, or do you want me to put the plans up?
If you could make me presenter, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. And you should be able to.
Wonderful. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the commission. My name is Andrew White. I am a registered professional engineer in the state of Connecticut. I'm the civil engineer representing Aquarion Water Company for their application of adding 12 additional parking spots to their facility at 200 Monroe Turnpike. Joining me tonight is Chip Ott from Aquarion Water Company, representing the owner, and Raina Volosky, who's a project environmental scientist with Ty and Bond, who did our wetland delineation and soil mapping. So if at the end of this presentation, if you have any questions for the owner or wetlands, I will defer to those two. The project itself, shown on my screen here, this is the existing conditions plan. There are wetlands. There's 3 pocket wetlands to the northwest of the building. The building is shaded in brown. And there is a watercourse and wetland to the southeast of the building. The red lines indicate the upland review areas. So almost the entirety of this project or this site is in the upland review area. And certainly the entirety of our proposal is within the upland review area. Moving to the site plan, what we are proposing to do, I zoom over here, the existing parking lot for the property is to the southwest, south and southwest of the building. And our proposal is to add in 12 spaces along their northwest frontage, which is adjacent to these 2 wetlands along Monroe Turnpike. So site access, you enter in from the west, and there will be an entrance to enter these 12 spaces, as well as circulation for the remainder of the parking lot. We are proposing to mitigate our impact to being within the upland review area and to manage stormwater flows from the parking lot by installing 2 low impact development features. The first being a biofiltration swale, which will run the length of the entire new parking area, and that will have a overflow to a rain garden that is proposed west of that biofiltration swale. These features accomplish 3 items. One, it reduces the peak flow from the new impervious area to reduce it below existing conditions. It reduces the volumetric runoff to below existing conditions, and it provides water quality in compliance with the Town of Monroe and the 2004 Connecticut Stormwater Management regulations. In addition to the parking lot, there will be a new sidewalk that's placed adjacent to the building that takes the place of the former sidewalk that was there. And there will be landscaping along the frontage of the building as well. Soil erosion controls, we are going to have a straw water wattle barrier that runs the length of the newly proposed tree line from where we're cutting in. The existing tree line is approximately at the last third of this parking lot. We'll be cutting the tree line back to put in our new features, and we'll be installing a construction entrance during construction. Construction will be involved with stripping this topsoil. There'll be a little bit of cutting and filling. It's a pretty nominal activity. It's already a very level area. In addition to that, we will be planting new landscape along the frontage of the building and within the biofiltration swale and rain garden. All plants are selected with crop that will be helping to reduce the pollutants from the water runoff from the parking area into the root structures in the biofiltration media that's within there. That is the extent of the presentation of the project that I have for you. At this point, I'd love to open it up for any questions or comments from the commission.
Okay. Going along the typical route, Commissioner Spence?
I actually do not have any questions. I see that our staff has done a good job in vetting what little was needed, and you responded to our staff nicely, and I don't have anything left. So good job.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gingras?
What page is the list of plants that you're going to be putting in?
That would be C202.
That's why I'm just trying to make sure I see what you have.
Yep. I can pull up that table here on the screen too for you as well.
I don't see a legend on the plans that I have. That's why I was trying to see the names of the plants and trees.
Oh, the plant schedule is on the lower left, and on the below up to on the upper side of the page has the call outs for all the plants. Most of the what we're proposing for beneath the shrubs and trees is a biofiltration seed mix, which is a seed mix with wild grasses and flowers that are indigenous to the area that do well in wet soils.
But you didn't have a name of the any of the shrubs or trees that you're going to be
Oh, no,
planting?
they are all called out. If you see the screen up here, these are the abbreviations: ARAC, LB, CS, and on the left-hand side of the page.
I don't have that plant schedule. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at the plans that I have. I don't have that plant schedule on my plans. Okay, I see it now. That's okay.
Yeah, these were originally submitted, and then when we revised our plans for the last for the comments, we had submitted the revised plans only, not the entire package. So there might have been some confusion.
That's why I'm sitting here like going through this, going, I don't see the names of the trees or plants. Okay. All right.
My apologies.
All right. All right. No other questions. Thanks.
Commissioner Massaraco?
No questions.
Commissioner Hall?
I've been through the materials. Everything seems very thoroughly covered. I just have one question out of curiosity. About how many square feet of pavement, asphalt are you putting in there?
This is approximately 5,500 square feet of pavement. Just over 2,000 of that is the 18 spaces itself, and the remainder, 3,000 plus, is the drive aisle.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I have no other questions.
You got it.
My question is, or my comment actually is, did you have a cut and fill calculation here?
I do not believe we have one supplied in the
We have
materials. No.
Do you know how much yards of material is leaving?
It's actually a fairly balanced site. I don't believe, from my
pretty flat.
recollection,
Pretty
Yeah,
flat, right?
it's rather flat. So what we're doing is we're actually taking out the grass. Let me just go to a plan to show you real quick. As the existing grade approaches the frontage of the building and the existing sidewalk, we're actually, by putting in the 6-inch curb, we'll be cutting approximately 6 inches on this side, and then we're filling 6 inches to a foot on the northern side of this figure. So it actually balances out pretty well, and it's very balanced, very flat, the site. So we're proposing a 1% grade. So that change between the sidewalk, the 6 inches down to the asphalt, and then 1% across. And then in the areas of the biofiltration swale and rain garden, we excavate material and put in 2 feet or 18 inches of a filtered media. So there's the additional spoils there that get used in the parking lot area.
Okay. My only reason is I think a lot of, the contractor that's going to do the work, when I look at these plans, and you have an export of maybe 10 truckloads of dirt coming out of there. And to me, maybe I'm off base by saying this, but it seems to me like an anti-tracking pad is just an excessive thing, and it's not even necessary if they bring the material to the edge. So, to the edge of the existing asphalt. You follow what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole day process to build this thing, and 10 truckloads takes 4 hours. So I don't know how to, I hate to see things overdone because, they're just stamped on every plan, and it's such a small impact here. So I guess what I'm throwing out as a suggestion is if they would not bring trucks onto loose topsoil and work it to the edge, they can maybe skip that part, that process. Because I know sometimes it's a real, it's not a lot of work, but it is something. This is probably a 2-day job, or removing the organics, so to speak, from this property. I mean, I don't know. It's not. I just sometimes try to think of ways to make things a little easier. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Understood. Well, my thoughts being the anti-tracking pad being the size that it is and being stone will be a similar material that we're using in the road base. So when they go to excavate and install this, they can place.
Oh,
the
so they're just going to use,
anti-tracking pad.
they're just going to use process. They're just going to use the driveway process.
Yeah, we could use that for the anti-tracking material as they excavate in. And
Because
then
usually
we
it's
use
a
that.
it's a 2-inch stone, and then they have to remove it to put process in later. But this,
Yes.
I guess I would say then I would offer up that if they would spec out that that's actually going to be just road base, then that would be, I don't know, do they have that on here?
We have the 2-inch stone, but we can make that. That was the point. We could make that a process and have
Yeah.
that be reused.
I think that would help you guys out. And I don't see why it wouldn't, be enough to do it properly.
That may
That's
be
all for me.
something that's brought up by P and Z, however, so just as an aside.
Hmm.
All right, that's all that I have.
I have one more.
Sure.
Actually, it's a Denise. I, like Clark, do not have the revised plans with the landscape plan. Do you have it? Does the office have the revised plan?
We have all the plans. So,
No, can I interrupt?
yes,
So
please.
you guys, you have the planting plan was on the original set that you received. When they did the second submission, they just did the revision maps rather than handing you a whole new set of maps. So you do have the planting plan.
It's on 201, because I got the revised 201, and it doesn't have
Was it
Right,
202.
the original ones.
that one. Okay, here it is. I do have it. But it
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they were thorough. I just told them that he didn't have to give you a whole new packet. That way you could just look at what was changed.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everything was there, and it is. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so are we ready to, was there anything that Andrew, any of the other people on your team wanted to say anything, or are you done?
It was just they're here for comments, so there's no need for them to explain anything more if there are any questions directed.
Okay. All right. Are you done with your presentation?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will stop sharing this.
This is regular meeting, so we just move this to deliberation, right?
Donna's saying yes. She's off mic.
Okay. All right.
See
So
her?
move over to
You
public
need to
hearing.
close the hearing, though.
Close the hearing, yes. So motion to close. I want to make a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Motion from Commissioner Spence,
And
second from
second.
Commissioner Gingras. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Public hearing, IWC 2020-08, 169 Enterprise Drive, commercial rock processing with parking, septic, grading, and building, continued from 12/9/20.
Where's Alan? Alan, do you need me to share? Do I need to put it up for you, or?
There you go. There was only 3 comments that we had from last time. So we had, yeah, if you could put it up if the board members would like. They're pretty
Okay.
straightforward.
Bear with me. I've got to get it up and figure out how to do this. Hold on. 169.
So Denise, you'll share your screen. You'll get it up and then you'll share your screen.
Yep, I just want to make sure I got the right one. Okay. So when it's up, I have to just share my screen. Okay, how do I share my screen, Donna?
So at the
Underneath?
bottom, yep, where your mic and your camera are, there's a
Oh, over
little
there.
computer.
Okay.
Yep.
So if I hit share, hold on one
There
second. You're
you
gonna see
go.
my personal screen. I just had it up. Why is it not coming up? Okay, can people see that? Because I can't see anybody now.
Yeah, we can see it.
See it.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
So last time we had the meeting, the berm dimensions in the back, and you see the box in red on the overall site plan. We put the berm dimensions, and the intent of that berm dimension, the berm plan there, is that we're gonna put the berm in after we grub it, and it's part of the right, you know, with the silt fence and all that, our site prep or soil erosion controls. And then we're gonna build the buildings before we fill in that back parking lot. So the berm's gonna stay in place probably through most of the construction of the building, and then we'll fill on that back parking lot. And then the berm, we won't need the berm, we'll just fill right over it. So that was one of the comments. The other comment is the roof drain. So we hooked up the little roof drains to the building, show them on the plan. And the third comment was a landscaping plan. So we had the applicant hired Rob Sherwood, a licensed landscape architect, to prepare a landscaping plan, which you have in your package.
Alan, did you not get my comments that I sent the other day based on the new plans that you submitted?
Yes, I did get them.
Okay,
So the comments that I got were, you know, whether we're gonna have a, you know, landscaped area inside the parking lot. And the landscape architect is working on with the owner the landscape plan for the front. And we'll
that's
have
not
that.
my comments,
What's
but that wasn't
Go
one of my
ahead.
comments.
Okay, what was your comments?
I referred to the landscaping plan and it talks about a meadow maintenance. And
Oh.
was asking what are you referring to as the meadow? If that, is that the conservation mix areas that you're referring to as meadow?
Correct. So we're not planning to mow that area.
Okay, but it says that it will be mowed.
If that's what, we're on the landscape plan, it says that?
It says under meadow maintenance, it states that the area is to be mowed whenever weeds reach 12 inches in height. Concern is that this is gonna get maintained like lawn. And
No,
not
that's not, if that statement implies that, that's not going over with Rob Sherwood, that's not our intent there. Our intent there is to, you know, that's why he picked out the meadow mix, because he's saying, you know, once you put it down and stabilize, it'll be like a meadow and you don't have to maintain the meadow. So, you know, once it's establishes, I suspect we won't be going down over that hillside. Other than, he's got some bushes and stuff like that down there. We'll do maintenance till it gets established, but once it's established, you know, we just want that to kind of go to, you know,
I'm trying to-
is not our intent to have that landscaped or manicured in any way.
Okay. In case some people are wondering, I was trying to find a landscape plan to put up on the,
Yeah, I think maybe he's talking about on the septic area, so the meadow mix on the septic area, that will maintain, that will cut, you know, because we don't want trees growing on the septic area. But that's gonna be lightly done. That's not, the backside of the property is not gonna be manicured like a golf course. Not our intent.
okay.
So you can see the septic area, you know, that will mow on occasion. But that's about it.
You ready? Okay, Commissioner Spence, comments, questions?
Yes, it doesn't really spell it out completely on the plan, but you are also planning on the meadow mix on the, let me see, with the western side of the property where the slope is?
Yes,
Only, okay, because it's only pointed to in the more easterly area, just west of the septic system. It doesn't have the arrow also going to the lower section. So I wanted to
yeah,
just make sure.
our intent there is where we, what he did is, and I work with Rob Sherwood on it, you know, he put some bushes on the slope and stuff, not up on the top because that's where you plow the snow. So we put it in the middle. In the areas we're not gonna have bushes and plantings, we're gonna put the meadow mix because it holds, you know, we got a 3-to-1 slope there, so it's not too bad, but he said, oh, it should hold it pretty good. And what grows in will grow in, you know, so over time, some of the plants will start to take over areas, but it's not our intent to have that, you know, any areas that are you know, unplanted will have the meadow mix.
Okay. In the letter, one of the letters I read somewhere that you were willing to enhance the stone wall that had been partially dismantled. Is that offer still on the table?
Yeah, you know, that stone wall acts as a nice berm. I think someone took some of the rocks somewhere along the way. And, you know, if to keep that, you know, there's trees around and stuff that grown up, so which is nice, but we don't have a problem to enhance that stone wall. The guy's business is rocks. You can get rocks.
Okay.
It's not a heavy lift for us.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, when in the program is that planned to have happen?
What's that?
The wall enhancement, the wall repair and enhancement. When is that supposed to be happening?
We'll do that before we do the slope.
Okay, good, because it does act as another ENS
Yeah.
measure. Okay. Okay, I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Spence. Commissioner Gingras.
No questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Mastroco.
No questions.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes, you mentioned you're going to build the building first and then develop this area behind. What's the expected amount of time to complete the building?
They're not complicated buildings, so I expect we should have it within a year.
Okay. Very good. No other questions.
Thank you. Okay, I don't have anything. So I think, are you, Mr. Shepherd, are you done with your presentation?
Yes.
Right. So, go ahead, Commissioner Spence.
I have one more, but it's of Ross. Switchgrass is something I'm not familiar with very much. Is that a good choice for where they're putting it, and is it invasive?
I don't think it's invasive. I think it's a pretty hardy plant. I think it's a good choice.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have anything to read into the record? Denise?
Hold on, I'm trying to expand my screen so I can get back to what's going on.
No, sir.
Ugh. Well, okay, everybody's small on my screen. I don't have anything to read necessarily, but I mean,
No, I
Uh,
do.
we do have
the-
comments still from the town engineer.
You want to read those?
Well, I know that the applicant's been in conversation with him, but the latest review I'm just looking at it, just basically says that the response does not adequately address the issue that he stated. So I just wanted the commission to know. And if you want me to read what they are, I will. But you should have copies of these as well.
You want to hear all of that?
It's
Is it
not a
long?
lot, is it? Seems to me there was only a couple.
No, it was really two that he didn't cross out.
Okay, I think can't hurt to read them into the record.
Okay. He has under storm control, number 2, verification that stormwater quality control measures are adequate to address the town's general deep stormwater permit should be provided, even though the actual measures for control are located within Newtown. Verify the water quality value separate from attenuation volume and lowest elevation for same being a minimum of 18 inches above the water table and/or redroxamorphic features. Note that the plan indicates wet basins. Accordingly, either a very detailed biofiltration plan should be submitted or a mechanical unit should be provided in order to address water quality in compliance with the DEEP manual. That's where he said response comment does not adequately address. And then number 3, he said additional grading info, contours and or spot elevations within paved areas should be provided to ensure that runoff is being collected efficiently by the catch basins. Note that the current plans and contours show minimal catchment at catch basins 4, 5, and 6. Provide conveyance calculations to verify that runoff will reach the treatment basins. So those seem to be the two that I see flagged on the comments that he provided to me.
Are they in any way going to affect what happens with our department?
Well, it's basically, I don't think it will. It's just the water quality basin, the way I understand, the water quality basin is on Newtown's property. All of our stuff, it goes through Monroe before it hits there. And there's the criteria that I guess our town has that's not being met yet. That's how I understand it.
Okay.
Just want to make sure I'm doing my job, that you know what's going on.
And then, Donna, you have things to read into the record?
I do, yes. And actually, I think, so we have Exhibit 1, which was the inland wetland agent comments, the first review that was dated October 15th, 2020. Exhibit 2 was the abutter receipts for notification that was received November 12th. Exhibit 3 is the 5-sheet plan set titled R Stone Company LLC, was done by Knock Engineering. Document was dated October 8th. The revision date was November 5th. And that was the set, that was just the, I believe that was just the revised plans. Or no, sorry, I'm thinking back to 200. Okay, ignore that. But it's a map set. Exhibit 3 is the map set. Exhibit 4 was a response to town comments. That was dated November 5th, 2020. Exhibit 5 was updated inland wetland agent comments by Denise Halstead. It was originally dated October 15th. The revision date was November 12th. Exhibit 6 were drainage calculations submitted by Alan Shepard. The document was dated December 8th, December 8th, 2020. Exhibit 7 was a drainage area map submitted by Knock Land Surveying. It was documented, dated December 7th, 2020. Exhibit 8 is the town engineer's comments, response to town engineer comments by Alan Shepard, and that was December 8th, 20. Exhibit 9 was updated town engineer comments dated dated November 17th, revision date December 7th. Exhibit 10 was a new map set, 5-sheet revised plan set by Knock Engineering. The document was dated October 8th, revision date January 5th, 2021. Exhibit 11 was a 1-sheet mitigation landscape plan by Knock Engineering. The document was dated January 4th, 2021. And Exhibit 12 was the response to inland wetland comments by Alan Shepard, and that was dated December 8th, 20. Now, Denise, I have a feeling that I'm missing those engineering comments. What were those dated?
Let's see. Town, this was dated. Hold on, second page. The 1/12/21.
Okay, so that would be Exhibit 13. Okay,
Do we have a bond amount?
11,000.
Okay, just want to make sure it was in there.
Yep.
Okay. So we got, going on, make a motion to move this to deliberation?
Oh, I take that
Oh,
back.
there.
11,000 was on another one. Sorry, I don't have a bond amount.
say that again, Denise?
I do not have a bond amount. Oh, yes, it's 23,000. I'm sorry, I read the wrong, I read 200 Monroe. Bond amount for this one is 23,000.
23,000 or 2,300?
1,000. 23000.
Okay,
Okay, someone want to make a motion to close the public hearing?
Did you open it to the public?
Oh, you're right. I forgot it's a public hearing. Thank you. Anybody in the public like to speak in a favor of this application? Does anybody in the public like to speak in opposition to this application? Does anybody in the public like to speak of this application in a general nature? Okay, I guess we can do it now.
Make a motion to close this hearing.
Motion from Commissioner Gingrist. Do you have a second? Second by Commissioner Hall. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion unanimously. On to enforcement. Before we do that, I just thought, did we not read in any, were we supposed to read anything into the record to for the previous IWC 2020-09? Denise, Donna?
Donna's on mute again. Hold on.
sorry. No, it's okay. It was a regular hearing.
Okay, all right, then that's all. Okay. I wasn't sure because, you know, this. All right,
No,
so
normally I yell.
yeah, I thought so, but I'm thinking to myself, we didn't ask, and I know all right, anyways. Off to enforcement, NOV discussion, nothing. Remediation submission, IWR 2020-02 is postponed. That's okay. Application hearing determination of type of hearing, IWC 2021-01, 74 Enterprise Drive, construction of industrial building with associated site improvements. That's it. You're open.
This is the one that basically had already been approved and lapsed. Am I correct? And they're doing phase two?
They had a phase
yeah.
one approved, yes.
Yeah. And they actually
And phase
just,
one that was approved, or did they have a phase two that was?
Well, they both were approved. I'm sorry, phase one has been completed. This is the next part of
The
it.
next phase of the permit lapse. Okay. Let me ask our staff before we decide that, have there been any significant changes to this property since since the first part was completed, or?
The first part was completed, and if I'm not mistaken, the CO was given for the first building.
They were here last year or so to
Right.
remedy some issues in the property. They had some violations, right?
74? I don't believe so. Not 74.
They have an issue with vehicles parked on gravel and
I
no
remember.
curb. We had to put a curb in to direct the water into the storm system.
Yeah, Lois, you and I walked that.
That might be before me, Keith. I only know when,
Yeah,
I
they
had.
I think it was
They had
before
some
you.
violations last year.
It might have been 2 years ago.
It's been
I
a
think it was
while. It's when I first
yeah.
started.
You know, they had that
Yep.
the first approval was like 2006, right? Like 2007?
Yes, but they went in and got themselves, I believe, up to par with our regulations.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's Dave Bjorklund. If I could speak, I could add some background.
Sure, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, this is the same application that you approved about a year and a half ago, both phase 1 and phase 2. But it's about to expire, or it has expired. So we're just applying for the same thing that the commission had approved about a year and a half ago. There's been no changes, but there were some violations, both from a zoning standpoint and from a wetland standpoint, and those have been cleared up. So what we're trying to do is just secure a new approval for phase 2, so that we can go forward. We have a very similar the same application has been filed with planning and zoning because that permit is about to expire. So this is it's really the same thing that you approved. There have been no changes in it, and planning and zoning is the same way. So we just want to renew what was both commissions already approved. Thank you.
So yeah, so that was a combination. That was a violation and an application, Dave is telling us. So what we're hearing now is just a redo, no changes. Let me just ask that to be sure. Dave, there are no changes whatsoever.
There are no changes.
Okay.
Okay, in light of that, I will move that we bring this to a regular meeting.
All right, we have a motion to move this application to a regular meeting. We have
I
a second.
second it.
Second by Commissioner Gingras. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Clarification, who was the second?
Commissioner Gingras.
Clark, okay.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, deliberation session, no public input.
So you received a draft? Sorry, I cut you off, Keith.
No, go ahead. Oh, should I call it out? Let me call it out first, right?
Yes, of course.
IWC 2020-05, 195, 201, and 211 Main Street, proposed 3-story senior housing, paved entrance, parking patio, grading and landscaping, Mutual Housing Association of Southwestern Connecticut, Inc., DBA Connecticut Housing Partners, review of draft approval.
Okay. So we took basically took the information that the commission discussed during their other deliberations. It was requested for a draft approval to be written, and it was submitted into your packets for review. And you just need to say if you like it as written or if you want something else changed.
I move that we approve this draft as drafted.
I second.
I have a motion to approve the draft
As written.
as written, seconded by Commissioner Gingras. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That is good news. Okay. IWC 2020-03R, 64 Cambridge for Independence Site Development and Restoration. That is in process, special meeting, so we just skip over that, correct? All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bond release reduction reports, IWC 2014-13, 5 Victoria Drive, request for $30,000 bond release. This is going to be combined with IWC 20-19-12-R towards the end of the meeting when Commissioner Stewart joins us. So that's tabled till the end. So we're on IWC 2018-01R A1, 98 Enterprise Drive, 90-day time extension requested.
This one, I had a little bit.
I don't know if they needed one per se, but
Well, the thing is, Enterprise, this was a third time extension request. And looking at the approval, the amendment approval, it looks like it was going to lapse, but I think it probably falls under the governor's ruling of the 3-month extension. And so I wasn't sure how the commission wanted to handle this.
and I
So
believe,
there you go.
I believe they were asking for the extension because they're in front of P&Z and they just didn't want anything to lapse. That was my understanding.
Denise, you want to give us a little background on this one?
I don't have any background on it.
I have a little bit. So this was Dan Bertoli was the partner, and it was, the amendment was to increase the size of the previously approved building from 120 feet to 150 long. That will take the place of proposed pavement and would not create additional impervious area.
Yeah, I remember that. So, yep. So they're asking for a 90-day time extension to start the project. Waiting for P&Z approval.
Actually, I think they're still waiting for, I think it's the 90 days. Let's see here. Hold on one second. Yeah, this one doesn't have the 270. Yes, I think that's correct. Oh, no, it does have the 270.
They haven't presented to P&Z yet? They're on their third time?
Well, this was one that was recent. I thought this was one that was recently resurrected because I'd have to go back, but I thought they came in front of us, and that we're waiting for them to continue some paperwork. But I think there's something with P&Z, and they just don't want to have their times lapse again, because I thought that's what P&Z said to me like a little while back, like, oh, they really don't need to be asking for one, but if you want to, let them.
How about, so we don't really know what the issue story is here. What do we just give
Wait.
them?
And this is the third. I think this is, Denise, I think you're right that it was, I think it can be granted.
They came in before this whole pandemic hit because their timeline was coming close. And I remember sitting down and with them and talking to them, and I thought we brought it to the commission. And they're kind of in the ROA period is what I thought.
Well, my thought is no one's here tonight from this applicant, correct? There's
I
no
don't-
representation.
I don't,
I'm asking if anybody out here is a representative of this application. Doesn't
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 appear
look
that.
like it. Okay. So are we clear as what's going on here? Could we maybe give them an extension to the next meeting and someone comes in here and explains to us what's going on?
The amendment approval date was February 27, 2019. So that's almost 2 years ago. And that was the amendment approval date. I don't know what bearing that might have on anything, but that was the official date, according to the paperwork we just got, which was the notice of decision.
Right, that's what I tried to send with you.
Well, yeah, it's a 2018 right on the date on the number there. I didn't see 2018.
Well, that was the original approval date.
That's what I mean. That's where this application, the year of
Yeah.
this application.
Right.
So
We amended it in
that was
February.
that was an idea I just floated out. You know,
But it concerns me that if we gave our approval in February of 2019 and they haven't presented to P&Z yet, it's been 2 years. I'm a little confused.
well, yes, that would be
All right,
nice
so
to
do you
know
want
this
to table
information.
it? Do you want
I
to
think
table
we
it
should to the next meeting and someone comes here and tells us what's going on, you know, or someone finds out what's going on. But I think it's something like this, you know, like Commissioner Spence is bringing up, it's February 2018, this thing's approved, it's been 2 years. Someone from the applicant should be here, you know, explaining themselves or answering questions at the very least, right?
I think it would probably bears a little bit of representation because it's confusing as to why it wasn't brought before P&Z, because they said they're prepared to present the P&Z application for the tenant's review, which indicates to me that they haven't done it at all yet. So
Someone make a motion.
next time and ask for representation and ask what's going on, or maybe our staff can find out and give us, you know, rather than take the time to bring somebody in, if they just find out.
That's
What's something to go
also,
on.
I think that's fair as well, but whoever's, you know, responsibility is to get us some answers and some information for the next meeting. It ultimately falls on the applicant.
True.
Okay, so do you want to table it?
Do we table it or do we ask for something specific at this moment? I mean, I don't know what we,
I think you can just table it. It's a time extension request. You want more information?
yeah, we want action to happen at the next meeting. So tabling is just like pushing it off. But we also, in the meantime, before the next meeting, we want, you know, some data here or a representation of someone to answer some questions. So that sounds like it's a little more than tabling it.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Do you have to
I
do
mean, you
motion
can make
on
a
that?
motion if you want.
Yeah, someone make a motion, please.
I move that we table this with pending further information from the applicant. Does that make sense?
And until when?
Until
Until
127.
the next meeting, 127.
Until the next meeting. Okay, we have a motion to table this to the next meeting with some information from the applicant. We have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Hall. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously. IWC agent activity reports, agent approvals, IA 2020-27, 10 Victoria Drive, minor modification.
That's 10 Victoria Drive is the one that we decided last meeting that they could do it as an IAA.
Yeah, I just want, that's all. I'm just reading that and we're done.
That's it. Yep.
Okay, all right. Wasn't sure if you had to say something about it.
No, that's
Okay.
why I was like, okay, I'll explain.
All right, the permitted uses as of right, IPU 2018-01, Department of Public Works, road repair, replacement, and/or general maintenance. IW Regulation Section 4.2C expires 3/28/2023. Enforcement deliberation, no public input. Deliberations on completed remediation submissions, none. Completed items from this agenda is determined by the commission. Wait. Does that?
Oh, you know what? Well, no, because you didn't deliberate. You deliberated on what was printed, but you didn't deliberate on the hearings that you closed.
Yeah, but it says enforcement, so that threw me off.
No, I
Deliberation-
know. It was before bonds. We should have addressed the other ones from the agenda also.
Okay. So,
F9
Yeah.
is where,
Yes.
oh, you're right. I just.
Okay.
Brain fart.
I did too.
normal meeting in a long time.
You know, or no one else is paying attention either. So, hey, deliveries that completed hearings, completed items for the agenda. I totally forgot. So, all right.
So you want to start with 200 Monroe Turnpike?
Yes, let's start with 200 Monroe Turnpike, IWC 2020-09. Any commissioners have any discussion on that application?
I move that we direct our staff to create a draft of approval with conditions.
Second.
A second from Commissioner Hall. Well, you had said with some conditions, Commissioner Spence?
Actually, I was thinking we always say with conditions, but I'm looking and I don't see any conditions.
There's one that I would like to put in. They have an option to install the road base in lieu of the anti-tracking pad at their discretion.
And that of P&Z. So how about
Obviously,
you
yes,
use
it's an option. I said it's an option from us. If P&Z requires it, then it obviously no.
Is that within our URA? That tracking pad?
Yeah,
It is.
I don't have the plans in front of me. I'm pretty sure it is.
We really can't say, but we can make a P&Z referral.
Okay, whatever. I just want to throw it out as an option to them.
Yeah, I mean, we can make it out as a referral. You can. The other thing is, did that one have a bond, Denise?
Yes, that was the one that has the $11,000 bond that I,
Right. And I wanted to bring it up to the commissioners. I don't know if they noticed it, but when they did their estimate for topsoil, feed, fertilizing, and mulching, they estimated $1 per unit per square
Oh.
foot.
based on last night's discussion.
Right. That's I thought. I looked at that and said, "Oh, that's different." So
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up to everybody. It's something we don't normally look at very carefully.
Yeah, not 30 cents or 20 cents.
Well,
They
10
were
or
10.
10.
They were 10.
They were 10.
Commissioner
That's
Stewart said at least
40.
40.
Yeah.
we were 40. And like you said, that didn't cover that covered maybe the material, but not the work. And the
Right.
dollar covers everything.
And
So.
and you got to remember something too. Most sites are directed to put the topsoil, to the side,
Pile,
right?
yeah.
The stockpile. So that stuff is gone. So anybody else, they're giving $1 a foot to spread what was there. And first of all, the job is take out topsoil and put process. So who's going to sit there and do all that work and stop? But anyways,
Yeah, we can, if it's, I'm fine with it being a P&Z referral comment. As long as there's something, there needs to be some kind of pad between the work area and the road.
well, the difference is that an anti-tracking pad is 2-inch stone. It's meant to clean the tires off the truck for
Right.
it's usually for a really long term. I mean, it's on every plan, but it's for days and days and weeks and months of trucks coming in and out. This is a 1 or 2 day job, and a process base the trucks will never drive on the dirt. They'll strip back the topsoil, they'll dump the process, the truck will always be on processed aggregate. So it's kind of like a stupid step to require them to do on such a small job. So that's why. you know, and chances are the contractor probably wouldn't even do it anyways. Because like, I'm going to have this, think about it. I'm going to do this in a day. That's a day's job, right? I could do that job myself in a day. So why would I go through putting in an anti-tracking pad? At the end of the day, it's no longer necessary and it can get swapped out by process.
Right.
It's just, it's one of those things. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, that's fine. If we refer it over to P&Z, we're okay with it, with the option. It's their option. They could still put it in if they want to. You know, if Bridgeport Hydraulic does this all the time and they insist that every single one of their contractors puts in an anti-tracking pad, they may not want that option.
Right. Okay. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Anybody else on this application? All right, I'll make a motion. We have a motion.
Second.
Well, we have, I'm sorry, what were you saying, Denise?
So the draft approval with conditions, and the condition, I just want to make sure the condition is a referral comment to P&Z about the construction entrance.
Yes.
Okay.
That's not really a condition. That's a
Is
separate,
it-
that's a separate line item, I believe.
Right, I'm just, you know,
Okay.
because originally we said with conditions, but I'm like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna, I don't want to say you do not install it. They just have an option. And if that P&Z is a better person to, that's fine. So I'm sorry, we have the motion for Commissioner Spence. Did we already have a second before discussion?
I did not hear a second.
It was from Commissioner Hall. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Commissioner Hall.
Okay,
did.
thank you.
So all in favor,
Aye.
motion passes unanimously.
okay.
Thank you. All right, now we're at IWC 2020-08. 169 Enterprise Drive. The commercial rock processing facility. Anybody want to have a discussion or you want to make a motion?
I gotta find it. I had it a second ago.
I had no questions on it.
Yes.
I did. It is. I move to direct our staff to draft a motion, a draft, yeah,
Letter of approval.
draft a letter of approval with conditions.
Okay, and those conditions are?
No mowing. That was a little bit of a sticky point, not a sticky point, but it was something that had been mentioned and it was conflicting with the written words that are on the plan. So it's important that we clarify that. And the second one was that they agreed to continue to repair and enhance the stone wall at the toe of the slope, and that they would do that before the slope was created. And those, I believe, are my only two. And the bond.
Before the slope was created, Lois?
The slope.
Yeah, so they could get
Okay.
access to the wall before.
So that it creates a little bit more of a barrier.
Okay.
I think those were the only ones I had.
All right, do you have a second on that?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Gingrich. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion passed unanimously. Doing good business tonight. All right, so back to this enforcement deliberation, which there really isn't anything. General discussion, the minutes of November 18th, 2020.
I revised them, so I'm thinking somebody else should make the motion.
I'll make the motion that we accept the minutes from November 18th, 2020.
Yes, we have a motion to accept the minutes from Commissioner Hall. Do we have a second? Second from Commissioner Mastrocco. And there was no changes? as written, Commissioner Hall? In your motion?
I saw no changes.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Minutes are accepted. Regulation Amendment Committee. Absurd. Muted.
Has anybody been given any thought to potential regulation changes that they would like to see?
Yes, I actually do. And I wrote them down somewhere. I have to find them. Here. I know I brought this up once before, and I can't remember if we decided whether it was possible or not, but the option for an applicant to go direct to public hearing. Any thoughts on that?
I think we have to check the statutes on that one.
So basically, just so everybody understands what I'm talking about, is if application is just pretty much darn sure that it's going to be a public hearing, instead of wasting a meeting having a determination, they go for the I guess the more stringent or the harder, take the harder road and skip and save themselves, 2 weeks or a month for the next meeting.
But that skips the acceptance procedure, and that's part of the statutes.
That's part of the statutes, because we still have to, when we get the application, we have to do a legal notice for the pending application, and it has to be held for 15 days at least, so that if anybody wants to intervene, or they can. And then we have to give them enough time between that and notifying the abutters and putting out the sign at the location too. So there's
So they can
there's
do a
not
hearing.
whole,
They're not going to save any time. Sorry.
you can't really, I mean, the statutes just require that time period. I mean, we look into it, and the other thing is, you're then requesting staff to make that determination.
No, it's not a determination. It's not the applicant. You would assume that a regular meeting or a public hearing would be the harder path for the applicant.
Yeah.
Okay, right? Because they have public comment and all this other stuff. So if they're okay with that, they assume it's coming down. Let's say someone has done this 20 times, and every single time it's gone to public hearing. And he says, I want to skip the determination. I'm going to go for public hearing. I'm saying I'll take a public hearing to help move it along. If it doesn't move anything along because there's other timeframes, that have to be met, then it's not a valid point. I'm just trying to think of how we can, lighten our load, not add something onto the agenda if the applicant decides to just accept the public hearing.
Right.
Skip the determination.
I think that's a question that we might have to pose to council.
That's
Yep.
fine.
Agreed. It's definitely something we can check out.
Yep.
Okay.
The second thing is, which we talked about previously on a couple violations, commercial wetlands violation should go straight to an NOV.
I'm writing these down. As opposed to the kinder, gentler
What's that?
approach of contacting them in person and
Yes,
trying.
I think commercial property owners should be held to a higher standard than a homeowner. Residential, yeah. So if you notice something there, it doesn't right, just NOV, and then we'll talk to them. And again, we're trying to save steps. We're trying to streamline our process, and less word, more actions, so to speak. Number 3. Okay, so this is something. So what other aspects of our duties, so to speak, as a commission, can we have go directly to Denise, so to speak, I guess. Wetlands 8, what are the things that we're kind of doing? Can we just have Denise take responsibility for and just do them like we did with the agent approval stuff, right?
For the 10 Victoria one, you like that, for
Yeah, like
instance?
that. But that, for instance, like how could we set some things up so that they can just do the business without us having to govern over it?
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Denise.
typically, I mean, I make the decision on the agent approvals, but that particular one, I didn't feel I should make that decision, which is why I brought it to you.
Yeah, but we're also thinking about some of the other stuff that we deal with that we can give you more responsibilities without having to come to us first. I don't have any specific ideas. It's just, is there anything that we're doing that's kind of like, do we really need to do this when staff can just handle this and not have to deal with it in the meeting? So I don't know if there's anything, maybe there isn't, but just, it was an idea.
Well, according to our bylaws and the regulations, there are certain criteria that have to be met before an agent approval can just be taken
Right.
taken charge, so to speak. And anything that is dubious or, she's not sure of, see, she can do the work of the commission if directed by the commission, but she
Well,
can't step beyond that without getting into trouble.
Well, how
Right.
about this? How about this idea? What about the first request for a time extension? We're almost always going to give it, right?
I don't know if she's allowed to give it.
I don't think
Would
that
it be?
I'm allowed to. I thought the way the regs are, as an agent, I represent you, but it's more in terms of agent approvals and violations. I don't think it allows me the right.
We're just thinking of if we could change anything that in the so to speak, so that we could kind of like keep these meetings quicker. And my point being is, like, I just thought of it just now, like I don't think we would ever deny anybody at least their first time extension.
Well, this wasn't a first time extension, though.
I'm not talking about this specifically. I'm talking generally across the boards. Anybody who has
The problem with that, Keith, is that while Denise can really only act if the commission gives her that permission to act, and I don't think, I understand like what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I think we get conflicted where sometimes then people are thinking that
I'm playing God.
staff is then taking on not power or control, but more than they should, because some of the decisions should really be the commission, because that's why you're there. You have the power. We just work as an extension of you. Like, we're not supposed to overstep, I think.
Its functions and purposes.
Yeah. Again, I just thought ideas that could, make some of the stuff that seems to be the same steady every time happens, and just kind of keep the agenda down a little bit lighter, because some of these meetings have been starting to get, long over the past year or so. And just to try to save some time and make it easier for some of the, the applicants, that's all. But that was just a general thought.
I definitely think it's something.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah.
Delegation by commission, 12.1.
Yes, I'm looking too.
12.1, so.
To approve or extend a permit for an activity that is not located in a wetland or watercourse, when such commission finds the conduct of such activity would result in no greater than a minimum impact.
So there is a possibility we can do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't that kind of fall under what you were saying, Keith?
Yeah.
It looks like it's already there.
Request for such approval shall be made on a form provided by the commission and shall contain the information listed under.
But I would think that you would need to go out to the property and make sure that there was no violations or nothing funny going on. That would prevent us from giving an extension, because that is one of the provisions, I believe.
Right.
Well, how would that work? Because if they're making changes towards a development, a plan, they're not in an extension, they're in process of doing the work. And if it's a violation that sat for an extension, they still have an end, what do you call it, condition they have to meet in order to remove the violation. But I do understand what you mean by going out and taking a look and see if anything has happened. But in order to relieve the violation, so if they have to take out 30 yards of fill, okay, but they brought in another 10, well, that's just stupid. But now they have to take out 40 to get the violation removed. So I don't see why someone would do that. They're already caught, busted, right? But I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm just trying to think, logically in a way. But again, that was not specific. It was just
No,
something.
that's actually good. I kind of like that. I think let's work on that. Maybe we can either put a correlation that's attached to that particular clause.
I mean, it does say that the activity is not located in a wetland or water course, which kind of, if it falls in a wetland or water course, it's a commission application. That's, agent approval that's why I could do some of the stuff, because it's not in the wetlands. So we have to think of the wording, I guess, on the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we're just talking about time extensions on this one.
Yeah, but
if
it's
there's
written
other,
kind of in this one, so we just have to make sure we correlate it properly.
Well, actually, this says to approve or extend a permit. Now, an extension.
But it's under agent approval section. That's the only thing.
Say that again?
It's under the agent approval section.
Right.
Not like duties or something like that. So that's why I think we have to.
You want to cross-reference it to someplace else?
That's what I'm wondering if we have to. I don't know. I'm just thinking, because if it's an agent approvals are typically done by the agent acting for the commission. If it's a time extension on a IWC permit.
Oh, good point. Yes.
That's where I don't want us to get into trouble.
Well, wouldn't that be an extend a permit?
But it is, but this is written under agent approval section, not under
Time extension?
Or under permits or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we have a section for permitted use as of right, which I come to you after, basically telling you that I'm doing that. Just informing you, but I handle the permitted use as of right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, Lois, if it comes under like section 6, other activities requiring action by the commission or application requirements under section 7 or something like that.
No, it wouldn't be 7. It wouldn't be 7.
Wouldn't be 8.
Well, it's something, to start. We'll look into it. We'll check it out with Barbara, and we'll see, what kind of wording we can come up with and see how we can make it work.
Yeah.
So I have a number 4, which, well, moving on from 3, which was what could we, convert to wetland agent responsibility. Number 4 is remediation development applications must be separated.
Yes.
That was like
a good one.
That was just like blinking in neon right there.
Oh yeah. I've actually been thinking about some wording that might work for that. And we also need to include in there, however, the commission may at its discretion allow the, because sometimes it's a minor little thing, or it's a minor little bit of development that's going with remediation or something. And,
Yeah.
but as long as we put that we have the discretion to accept it if we want to, but otherwise we can stand behind our reg and say, absolutely not. So,
Okay.
good one.
Now, we're basically at the tip. Well, actually, let me just, while we're talking about this other authority we can give to Denise here, what happens when we get a violation of somebody who parked a car, a boat, dragged some brush, not like cutting down trees or anything like that, and not moving earth, but just placed something in the review area that is a violation?
I
Are those
normally
coming to us? What's that?
work with them directly if I can to get it done.
Yeah, so as long as it's not like earthwork or something like that, right?
You know, unless they've done like, you know, like you said, brush or something a little bit more, and they I don't want to say blow me off, but they don't, you know, I can't reach them. They don't, you know, call me back. They don't, you know, respond to any of my stuff. I'll give a time, but after, you know, 3 strikes, I will
Okay.
then do something a little bit more.
Well, that actually could go to the number 1, the number 2. If on the residential side, I said commercial wetlands violations go straight to NOV. If you do not, if within a certain amount of time, if you can't get a response,
That's when I bring them to you.
but I say maybe we should be able to set it up so that you just, I mean, I know it doesn't happen a lot.
Mhm.
Most people want to, you know, do the right
Most.
thing.
Most.
But we could also have it where, you know, you don't even have to come to us. If a residential property owner ignores you, doesn't do what they say they're going to do, and when you're trying to work with them on something easy and simple, that we don't have to come to us. Just give them the NOV. I know it's a little more complicated than the commercial one. I know that, but it's just something to think about. We can hash
That
it
may
out
be
later.
something, I'm sorry, Keith, go ahead.
No, it was pretty much us saying that was just the ideas to build on.
Mhm. That may be something that we don't necessarily have to put in the regulations. That can be policy. We can write our own policy that, you know, as things that we normally do. As long as we follow the state statutes and do not extend our purview beyond what the state gives us,
Okay.
I believe we can do that, you know, like we have a policy of allowing Denise to do agent approvals on certain kinds of things. We have certain things that we do as of a normal, I'm losing my vocabulary, but there are some things that we do just normally that don't necessarily have to be engraved in the regulations. And that may be
Okay.
one of them. That's why something else we'll check out with Barbara.
All right, great.
Okay.
Next be the Public Outreach Committee.
Did anybody else have anything they wanted to put in the reg?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. You covered most of mine. I think I may have 1 or 2, but they're very minor. They're like tweaks and
What's going on there?
We're
Looks like Christmas.
Do you have something on the keyboard? Hold on, Lois. I can't even unmute you. My computer's freaking out over here.
On her mute thing, her mute
Her
icon.
and Sarah are both going on and off, and my mouse is not. My mouse is up here.
I don't see Sarah's doing anything.
Well, it's on my
Lois is.
screen. It is on my screen. It's doing stuff.
Oh, and now BJ's is doing it too.
Yeah, it's like it's going
Not
down.
really. I was faking it.
Oh, you're faking it? All right, now we gotta work with Lois here. You think that could be coming from her computer?
I don't know, because I hit unmute all and it's not working.
Oh, now it's stopped moving. So see if we can unmute Lois.
It doesn't let me unmute. Donna, can you
What
try
about,
unmute?
do you have a mic, Lois, do you have an external microphone? Maybe you gotta try to, now it says it's
No,
on.
now it's fine. Now nothing's blinking. Go.
Lois,
Lois,
talk to us.
Speak
Talk to
quickly.
us.
No, I do not have an external microphone. I'm using the one that's in the laptop. No, I don't have anything else that I had to say. I think I'm pretty much done. I did have some other things that I was going to bring up, but they were minor little tweaks to definitions, and these are things that I had worked on with Jeff before he left us. So, and they're not very big things. So I'll put them on the list, and we'll bring them all to Barbara. We'll bring them first to the commission, see what they think, and tweak them out with Barbara, and then we can start going through the process of submitting them to TEP and having a public hearing and all that other fun stuff you got to do with regulations.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So correspondences, I'm sorry, Public Outreach Committee,
Nothing.
nothing. Correspondences, nothing. Pending items, IWC 2020-10, 472 Pepper Street, parking expansion, construction of drainage system. Then we have IWV 2019-15, 1380 Monroe Turnpike, disturbance within an upland review area. Wasn't there like an attorney deal thing going on there with some?
and they're still fighting it out in probate. The
Probate,
one
right.
underneath it for 43 Birdseye, they made a deal with 1366, and they want to start the work, but 1380 Monroe Turnpike won't let anything happen. So
Gotcha. So it's still in court.
I don't know what's going on over there. They're just,
Hatfields and McCoy.
you have
Yeah.
two that are ready to work it out and one that won't let anything happen right now, it seems. So
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to
All
keep
right.
them together because
Okay.
they are all interconnected.
So also IWB 2019-16, 43 Birdseye Drive. Okay, so now that we've done everything but adjourn and deal with those bond release and time extension, I have to recuse myself from. Commissioner Stewart will not be joining us for 45 minutes. So
That's late. Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
can't
tried.
wait.
I thought like an hour. Yeah, I could talk for an hour. But
You did good.
you guys, but we're still within statute for as long as it's not a vote tie, correct? It's still a quorum, correct?
Oh yeah, there's four of us, so we can do it with four. Not a problem.
Okay. So I might as well just leave the meeting, let you guys finish and adjourn, Lois.
Okay.
All right?
All
Lucky
right.
devil, you.
Night,
So-
Keith.
Is it? Yeah. So it's 8:32. Chairman is leading the meeting.
All right. Good night, Keith.
Night.
Okay. We have a dual.
Well, they're kind of interconnected, but they're not. And I know that Chris Russo is on because he's representing 4 Main Street. So, which is first? Do we want to discuss the 5 Victoria Drive, or do we want to do the 4 Main Street?
Are they connected or are they not?
Well, they're not. They're kind of interrelated in a way. The bond release for 5, to me, is a little bit contingent on what's going on at 4. So I don't know if you want to discuss 4 first.
So let's do 4 first.
Okay.
Supposed to be 4, 5 in the number line anyway.
So 4 Main Street, 5 Victoria, it's IWC 2019-12-R. We have a 90-day time extension request under item F 11.
Yeah, I do not have that item F all I have is the last third notice of time extension. What was item F?
F is deliberation session under 11.
Oh,
That F.
I
That F.
thought you were talking about an F on the,
No,
the,
no,
um,
sorry.
okay. Right, 2019-12-R time extension. Okay. So do we have, or can you give us a little bit more background on this so we can be more educated?
Well, we have a fourth time extension. Now, we had granted a third time extension back, hold on, let me find, the third time extension was granted back in October 21st, 2020.
Mhm.
And in it, the commission said they granted the 90-day extension, and it says, please be advised that at the regularly scheduled meeting, the Inland Wetland Commission on October 14th granted a 90-day extension effective through January 5th, 2021. Please note the following motion made by the commission. It contains new requirements. The motion to grant the 90-day was for the completion of the remediation work. Also, the parcel shall be combined or a modification application submitted. And then it says, please note that failure to comply with the third extension may result in the lapse of a permit. We got a fourth notification on January 4th, 2021.
Okay. All right, I will ask Mr. Russo, what's going on?
Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, good to be with you tonight. Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzio LLC, offices at 10 Sasco Hill Road in Fairfield. Here on behalf of the property owner of 4 Main Street, which is 7192 Main Street LLC. So this approval, the original approval that we got, and I don't know if Donna or Denise can enable me to share my screen, because I can share the
Hold on.
Yep.
For some reason, my computer's doing a little bit of crazy stuff. I see you on the screen, but I'm not finding you. Here you are. Hold on.
Okay.
And make presenter. Okay, you should be able to.
Yep. Yeah, I think I can do it now. Sure. Okay. Is it showing? Okay, yes, there we go. So this is the original approval, and if I go, I just have to go down a little bit here. There was a condition in this approval that you could see highlighted that says combining of all parcels, including by Victoria Drive, must be filed on the Monroe land records. So I spoke with my client, and I'm trying to work with them in trying to clear up this issue. And I also spoke with Soli Engineering, Larry LaPere, who had worked on this application and had also tried to go to pull a permit to do the remediation. He went to zoning to try to pull that permit, and was told that he needed to first comply with the conditions of this approval, which included combining of the parcels. If I go to the plans, sorry, one second, let me just grab the plans. Okay, can you see the plans now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so the remediation plan that was approved included a large area. Most of it was in this area that you see right here. This actually, it was not owned by my client. It was owned by the owner of 5 Victoria Drive. And the intent was to, my client was in contract to acquire this portion of 5 Victoria Drive and add it to 4 Main Street. Not to 7182 Main Street in Trumbull, which is this piece that you see right here, but the lot line revision that we were attempting to get recorded was just to add this area into 4 Main Street. That took a long time to get that lot line revision Mylar recorded. I was able to get 1 Mylar recorded in Monroe in November. I didn't get the Mylar in Trumbull. I wasn't able to get it recorded. Trumbull took a while reviewing it. I wasn't able to get that Mylar recorded until December 14th. So it really wasn't until December 14th that my client was able to close with the owner of 5 Victoria Drive and gain control of this this piece where most of the remediation is in. So now my client would like to move forward with getting the remediation permit. An issue that has come up is the specifics of the language in this approval, where it says combining of all parcels, including 5 Victoria Drive, must be filed on the Monroe land records. In my opinion, I think the lot line revision Mylar that we've now filed is sufficient to be able to move forward with the remediation and pull that permit to be able to do the remediation. So I've prepared a permit approval modification application so that I would submit to. I actually emailed during at the beginning of this hearing. I emailed a copy of it over to Denise, with the intent to file it. And what it would ask for is to change this condition to just say that the recording of a lot line revision Mylar that would transfer this portion of 5 Victoria Drive, into 4 Main Street. Then my client actually has control of these parcels and can go, because that's already been satisfied. Because we recorded the last one on December 14th, that they then could move forward, pull the permit, and then complete the remediation. So I asked for 90 days. I am open to, it's obviously at the discretion of the commission. I threw out 90 days just because that's a standard request, but if the commission wanted to put a tighter time frame, so I would come and give updates and show that we've made progress, I would be happy to do that and update you in a shorter time frame as to where we were. And then you would also see, hopefully, I don't know if you'd be able to schedule it for the next inland wetlands hearing, but maybe the one after that, this application to amend this permit approval. So that's our request. That's the update with where things are. But my client didn't even have full control of this piece and hadn't closed with the neighbor until December 14th of 2020.
Because the permit amendment was what we've been asking for 6 months. And it took an awful long time to get it going. So you are saying that you did submit this to Denise? Is that what you said?
So I emailed a draft over to Denise. I did it in the course of the meeting. I will submit it tomorrow though with the check and everything. A complete application. I will submit it to her tomorrow. But I have it ready to go. And so we're ready to go in filing that.
Okay, Donna, what kind of not restrictions, but time limits and other restrictions do we have to work within concerning hearings and public and all that stuff? Do we have any, or since it's amendment, is it much more lax?
As far as I can tell, I mean, an amendment, you'll decide whether you have a hearing on it or not. But if it's an amendment to an application, depending on what it is, it determines whether you'll do that. So it's up to the commission whether
But it's not an
they wanna-
application amendment, it's a permit amendment. I thought that was a different set of criteria. Because he's just asking us to revisit our permit approval.
Right.
And that's what I don't know what we need to do. We don't do very many of them, so.
No, it's an amendment modification. That's what it is. It's not, the wording is because they have already had a permit issued for an application for a project. They're modifying it. You can't modify the actual permit to change wording. This is for like if they're changing something on the site development.
But that's not what we're doing. He's asking us to change the wording of our approval.
I've never heard that. I've never heard of a process to do that.
I don't know. Without Barbara here, I was hoping Barbara would be here so we could address this.
I had contacted Barbara to try to get her opinion on it after we had recorded the last lot line revision Mylar. I had contacted her to see how she thought it'd be best to handle it. She was away for the holidays. We've since been playing phone tag since she got back, and I'm hoping to touch base with her and and see, because I mean, you know, we before on other approvals we have filed to amend a condition, and whether it's through this specific application or whether it would just be a letter asking for a condition to be removed or amended. We could do it either way, but it's definitely something we filed, you know, before in other towns, and to amend.
I've never come across that.
Donna's never
I mean,
seen
it's
one.
fine. Yeah, I haven't seen one, but that's not to say it's not done. So I guess that application that you showed was really for a modification to the plan of an approved plan already. As far as wording goes, I think we do need to get Barbara involved in this, and it could just be a letter if that's what the commission is comfortable with. You know, it's a paper trail. So I guess if the commission as a whole is okay with that, then okay.
Okay, I will poll the commissioners. How do you feel about this? Do we want to go through well, we don't know if we have any paperwork having to do with a permit modification.
So that's what I'm saying is that Chris could submit a letter with the specifics of what he is requesting to be changed. And then the commission can discuss it, vote on it, and in turn, we would draft an approval letter that says yes or no, we're allowing or denying that change.
Okay. All right, but we have to wait really until we talk to Barbara about this because I'm very unsure. I know everybody is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the meantime, go ahead.
I was going to say, so in the meantime, it could just be no harm, no foul until we get this straightened out. I mean, I don't really know.
All right. How do we feel about giving a shorter time extension to talk to the attorney? Because it lapsed, I believe, has it not?
Well, that's where, based on that's where we needed to discuss. Based on the third one, we said with the failure to comply to this third extension may result in a lapse. So not that it has lapsed yet, but then based on the date, you know, I don't know.
It's It's absolutely up to the discretion of the commission. The other thing was I didn't know whether the governor's order of the 90-day extension plays into that.
That's true. Didn't we use that as, didn't we use that last time as part of our basis for allowing the last 90-day extension?
Well, but I believe, and I could be wrong, I'm not an attorney, but I thought what I understood listening to P&Z's talking, that while the governor still has it, we have to abide by it. You know, it's still out there. The what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I borrow something you said before, right?
You know, he has it out there, so, you know, until he gets the executive order, until that's gone.
Right, until that's rescinded.
But we have,
I didn't,
What, Donna?
someone else was talking, I didn't hear Donna.
I said, until that's rescinded, I think, yes, that it's still in effect.
Right.
but that doesn't go on forever. I mean, we have given 3 90-day extensions already, which is more than we normally give. And I seem to remember, and I could be faulty, but I seem to remember using that particular condition, not condition, keep using the word condition and it throws a wrench in things. The governor's order, I believe we use as the basis for our awarding the last extension. Does anybody remember differently on our commission? Somebody?
Let me see if my notes say anything.
Clark or Ross? BJ says he doesn't know. Do you remember using that? Hmm?
We haven't used it.
We didn't refer to that as being the last time extension?
I don't remember. Jeez.
I know. We've had so much going on in the last 90 days that I'm surprised we remember anything. Ross, do you remember?
Well, and I don't think there's any restriction on inland wetlands for the number of 90-day extensions to give for something like this.
Well, we have precedent and things that we try to maintain. So we don't let, it's supposed to be 270 days, period, end of story. But we do on occasion go over that. All right. What do my commissioners feel? Do you have any opinion on what we should do about this? Should we give a shorter extension? Should we give a full 90 days and consider it the governor's 90 days for sure and record it as such? Do we give a shorter
I
time?
agree with that. If the governor is allowing it, I would say, all right, let's give him a 90-day extension so we can figure out the wording on this application that has to be modified.
I agree.
Ross, you do too?
I agree, yeah. If they need the time, let's give it to them.
Okay, now is that 90 day to be including, that's just to get the wording correct? Or are we going to ask for the remediation to be done in that 90-day period? It was supposed to be done a year ago.
Yeah, that's the only problem is the remediation keeps getting put off.
That's
Right.
the problem with
And
having
I don't
two
see the
applications.
reason why on that.
Well, we didn't own the property.
But that was part of the approval. I mean, this is no secret. We knew that
Yeah.
this was going on from the beginning. And we feel like we've been strung along quite a bit. And it gets a little annoying after a while. So, there's only so far you can go.
And I appreciate that this commission has had to deal with this, and obviously you want to get this remediation resolved as soon as possible. And I am working on it. I'm hoping that my help in this will move this along in figuring out some of the legal issues surrounding it. And I'll definitely work with Attorney Schellenberg, but we did not own the piece until December 14th. I have the deed and I have the recording for Trumbull. So I mean, which I could submit, but we will be back before you to amend the approval, hopefully at the next meeting if you would take it, or the meeting after. So regardless of the 90-day extension, we will be before you to try to fix the approval so we could actually pull the permit. And that would be, you know, as soon as possible, hopefully by the next meeting.
Okay, so say we gave you the 90 days, say we gave you till the next meeting. Hopefully we could pull that whole thing off for the wording for that. Then the rest of the time within that 90 days to complete the remediation, barring planting, because plantings can't be done in that time, but that you could at least get a significant amount of it done during that 90 days. Does that sound reasonable?
I think, yes, because I talked to my client and he thinks the remediation itself will take 2 to 3 weeks. So if the commission approved the condition being amended so that the lot line revision Mylar that we filed was sufficient, to me, that would mean we could go immediately to pull the permit and, you know, hopefully, you know, soon thereafter be able to commence that 2 to 3 weeks worth of work of remediation. So I think the 90 days is possible, as long as that's, you know, what ends up being agreed to for the approval, changing the approval, I should say.
Didn't think that the remediation hinged on having a permit issued.
It doesn't. I don't think it
It
does.
doesn't. That's why I've been very confused.
The work should just be done, Chris. I've never, the remediation, that's why it states that the remediation should be done immediately and before the 270.
Well, I could check on that. So Solely Engineering they had submitted the application and got this approval, and they had also developed the permit set. And so I was talking with them today, and they had told me that they were denied a permit.
By whom?
Because they didn't satisfy this condition of the wetlands approval when they went to zoning.
But that,
Again, I don't think that pertains.
Go ahead, Donna.
I just didn't think that pertained to the remediation.
That's what I don't understand either.
Right. I was under the impression you didn't need a permit when we required remediation and the applicant agreed to do the remediation. I was under the impression that you just did it. You didn't need to have a permit to do it because you have basically an order to do it. So
Right.
I don't think you need a separate permit for that. Just go do it. And both of my staff members seem to agree with that.
Well, I'll certainly look at that and talk to that. You know, that's, you know, I came on after, you know, all this was done. And so I'm trying to find the way for them to move forward. I was told that that Solely Engineering had tried that and said, and they were told that they need to get the permit before. But
well, interesting to hear
maybe there's something wrong in the communication. So I will check on that to see if they're allowed to move forward just with the remediation.
Okay, well, I think you're talking to the group that allows that. Denise, am I right on that?
Well, that's what I thought. I mean, I know, you know, like applications, there's like an ROA, but this is a remediation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different, it's not like a site plan type thing where, you know, we might have a pre-construction meeting, which is a standard thing to go over the remediation. As you know, we normally do have one with the site plan too, but I mean, other remediations like 3 Lewis Circle, the guy came in, you know, he got it, you know, the stuff was approved, he came in, I met with him and the work was done.
I believe, Chris, that what you're
Excuse me, This is Hans Shermans. I represent the owner. I work with the owner, Mitch Diesso. Chris knows me, and I believe that the remediation was part of the overall site plan to do the work on the site, that it was not a separate remediation, that it was part of the plans. Also, the remediation was a part of the old owner's property that we took over when we combined the property. So, but I do believe that a permit was necessary because the remediation was part of an overall site and fill plan. And that's why the work hasn't been done. If you give us permission to do the remediation without a permit and to go ahead without the rest of the site plan, we would be happy to do that.
This is where we have our problems, Lois, with having a site plan and a remediation.
I agree. I've disliked them from the beginning.
And I think that's what part, and I'm not against anybody, that's why we don't want them together. And this is what we've been fighting about for, other projects coming in this way, because this is a perfect example where, they could probably have the remediation done, but because it was bound up with a site plan, different timelines, different conditions, and the remediation gets put on the wrong.
So, yeah, so
Just showing on the approval, you can see in the approval, it says commercial site development and remediation.
Because that was the
right
way
now,
it was submitted.
Chris, if you could scroll down, because you'll see that the remediation completion date is different. So go down to the conditions, please. Keep
Sure.
scrolling.
John?
Right there.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So the addition, this was 90 days. Time of expiration.
All right, keep going, because right at the bottom of my screen, it says the commission is hereby requiring a remediation shall
Yeah.
commence no later than 10 days. So you
Yeah.
don't need a permit for that. You do need a permit
Right.
for your development portion, but not for the
Right.
remediation portion. And I
Yep.
don't believe they are physically connected. If I'm
That's
remembering.
why that wording is in there.
Okay, that, I seem to remember working on that wording very hard.
Mhm.
So to Chris and to Hans, I believe I got your name.
Yes, Hans.
Yes.
Yes, just start. Let me, actually, that's my opinion. Let me poll the rest of the commissioners and Ross and Clark and BJ, please chime in. How do you feel on this?
Lois, I defer to you on this one. It all sounds good to me.
Okay. Ross?
Sounds good to me.
I'm good with it.
Okay, all right. So, do we have a plan?
So other than a pre-construction meeting, we have a pre-construction meeting, but this is Hans Shermans again. But we would be able to proceed without a permit, but with a pre-construction meeting with the commission.
Your pre-construction meeting can happen if it is even required with Denise, so that she can review what were the conditions of the remediation, because that was so long ago. I don't know who remembers any of it. So that's the only pre-construction meeting that would be required. And yes, other than that, you can start immediately. And
Okay, great. Thank you.
Now, Lois, do we want to give a due date? Because we had a timeline once before. If we're giving them the go ahead now, should we give a due date so that?
Well, I would entertain any concepts from the commissioners. Does anybody have any ideas as to what you would like to see?
As soon as possible.
I like that.
It's been almost 2 years, so I mean, as soon as possible.
If we gave.
Well, I'm sorry, this is Hans Shermans again. We've only owned the property for a short amount of time. We would need to bid out some of the work and things like that. We would ask the commission to do this portion at least 60 days.
Yeah, I agree. 60 days would work.
Okay, BJ, Ross?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, so can I hear a motion to give 60 days? Hans, do you feel that 60 days is appropriate or good enough time to get the remediation finished?
I believe for the remediation portion, 60 days is sufficient. I think that 90 days for the other portion that Chris was talking about is sufficient as well.
No, that's got to be faster. That one has to be faster. Good, and he said he could probably have it by our next meeting, so that's only 2 weeks.
Right.
Yes, am I correct on that?
Yeah, I'll call Barbara tomorrow and I'll see what she thinks if I should just submit the application or just a letter, and it would take 2 seconds to put together and submit.
Okay, so how about we
Then in
do-
my opinion, 60 days is, yes, 60 days is fine then. This is Hans Sherman. 60 days would be fine.
All right, so if we gave the full 90 and we gave up until the first meeting in February, giving you a few more weeks in case something goes awry, to discuss with our attorney and to work out details on this, and to have it no later than our first meeting in February. Okay, and have the remediation finished within 90 days of tonight. Do I hear a motion along those lines from my commissioners, please?
I'll make a motion
And a
that
second?
the 90 days, do you want a second?
I'm confused. 90 or 60? We talked about 60 and now we just said 90.
Well, I'm thinking maybe 90 because then we can get the plantings in.
Okay, well, that's why I was about to ask that question, because 60 days is still kind of not the right planting season.
And things
Okay.
always go awry. So we gave an extra 9, and that is also fits into the governor's 90-day time
Yep.
period.
Okay.
So we take care of all the parameters at one time. And yes, Donna.
Can we clarify that motion so that it makes, we just went through a lot. Can we clarify it in a concise manner?
Long
I
enough.
thought you described it very clearly.
Okay, BJ, try again.
I was going to say, I thought you described it very clearly just before I made the motion, but if Donna's confused, I would say I would make the motion that we would extend the time for 90 days to complete all remediation and plantings.
And until what happened, BJ? You stopped.
I stopped.
Oh, you stopped. Okay.
In
And
order to
within
complete the remediation, they would need to file the correct paperwork, right?
Actually, the paperwork is a separate issue. We could do
Okay.
that you want to do it in 2 motions? Would that make it easier, Donna?
Whatever the commission would like.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, so let's vote on that particular
I
motion.
second his motion.
Thank you. So all in favor of getting the governor's 90 days to this extent, being that this extension, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all opposed, obviously not, it's unanimous. And may I hear a second motion giving the applicant up until the first meeting in February to converse with our attorney and work on and present us with either an approval, modification, or other appropriate paperwork. Does that sound good, Chris? You're nodding, I think. Okay. Do I hear that motion?
I'll make that motion
Thank you,
to what
BJ.
you said.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. We have both motions and we are passed. So you have until, we hope to see you within the next 2 meetings, Mr. Russo.
Thank you very much. Thank you, commissioners. I appreciate the time and the patience in working through it with us.
Okay, and Denise, I'm
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
looking forward to working with Denise. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, guess what?
Okay, now, last one.
Oh, okay. There's more. That's right. The
Last one. Last
release.
one. This is a bond release for 5 Victoria Drive. It's IWC 2014-13. Now, everyone should have my report that I put together. We had a request to release the bond on 5 Victoria. Now, the bond on 5 Victoria was a $30,000 bond. It was a performance bond, and it was associated with the approval on 5 Victoria's property. And the way it was written is that the bond was for the assurance of a resolution to the apparent need for remediation of the rear portion of the property, known as Area E. Area E is the land that was that was merged with 4 Main Street. This is why I was trying to put them kind of together, because, so I do know that the property with 5 Victoria has conveyed over to 4 Main Street. So typically I would say we would release the bonds, but this was a different type of bond. We do have a bond for 4 Main Street, but the bond is for site plan remediation. It's combined. So the question is, do we release the bond back to 5 Victoria, who doesn't own it anymore? And I didn't know, because it's different types of bonds in the wording. And, you know, I did talk to Barbara. She has to look further into this matter. So that's
We said
kind
we
of,
will send until we hear from Barbara.
that's, you know, she said it's kind of up to you. You know, I tried to bring her up to speed after hours this evening, you know, and she said she'd have to look into it more and, you know, what to do. But that's why my report kind of gives you all the different things. Now, granted, now 4 Main Street's not necessarily lapsing. At the time, I didn't know if 4 Main Street was going to lapse because of the issue we just sorted out.
Right.
And the concern at that point is, if 4 Main Street lapse, now what happens? You know, we give bond back to 5 Victoria. We don't have a bond correct for 4 Main. They then lapse. You know, that's where I was kind of out of my comfort zone.
Well, you know, we're back to that remediation / development snafu.
Exactly. This is what they want to do, and this is the headaches that we have from it.
Right. Oh, and we do have headaches. Not like yours, though.
Could we just defer releasing the bond until the work we just approved is completed?
I don't see why we can't. And that's why I wanted to give you the whole story too of what was going on. And I wanted a record of it, because I don't want them to say, well, how come it wasn't released, or how come it wasn't heard? Well, it was heard, and these were the, you know, the issues we had at the time.
Because this remediation is for the property we just discussed.
Exactly.
This reminds me of the Timothy Hill, was that it, with the bridge?
Yeah, you got it.
Yep.
Can we please get out of these ones, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll be done with them soon, I hope.
I hope.
There's too many more left. I think that sounds like a fine idea, BJ. Would you like
I did, yeah.
to make a motion?
I make a motion that we defer the bond release for, is it 5 Victoria Drive?
Yep, 5 Victoria Drive.
Until 4 Main Street is completed per the 2 submitted requests.
I second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. Right, Denise, I think you have your answer.
Yay.
Okay.
I make a
Okay.
motion that we close the meeting.
Well, I was just gonna ask if we had any other business. I don't believe we do.
I think we hit
Okay.
everything, didn't we?
And
I
I'll
think we
second
did.
his motion.
All right. We are done.